So you slept 8 hours last night, chugged half a liter of melatonin beforehand, smashed your phone with a baseball bat right after sunset to make absolutely sure no blue light hits your eyes. And still, every single day you feel like you've been run over by a truck. You track yourself through the day, constantly reaching for your coffee cup and keep wondering why you're always so damn tired, even though you're technically getting enough sleep. That's exactly how I felt for years. I was constantly exhausted, had no energy left for the important things in life, and by the evening I would just collapse onto the couch. And the most frustrating part? I tried everything people recommended. Going to bed earlier, cutting down on caffeine, staying off my phone before bed. Nothing worked in the long run, which meant the cause had to be something else, so I started digging deeper. I wanted to understand what was really behind this constant fatigue if it wasn't just about sleep. Of course, good sleep is fundamental. The topic is so important and broad that it would deserve a dedicated video. But today we are going to focus on the other factors that impact your energy levels, the ones hardly anyone talks about. Quick note before we start, everything I'm going to share with you today is backed by science. No wild claims or pseudoscience. You will find the studies I reference in the description. So let's dive straight in and find out why you're really always tired and how you can change that for the good. The first and perhaps most surprising reason for your constant tiredness is simpler than you think. You are dehydrated. And no, I'm not talking about extreme dehydration. Even a fluid loss of just 2% can reduce your cognitive function and energy levels by up to 30%. The problem is most of us don't even recognize when they are dehydrated. Your body sends you signals that you probably misinterpret. That slight headache in the afternoon, this sudden tiredness after lunch. Often that's not hunger or pure exhaustion, it's thirst. A study from the University of Connecticut showed that even mild dehydration leads to mood swings, reduced concentration and, you guessed it, chronic fatigue. Unfortunately, most people only start drinking water once they are already dehydrated. The second reason is a micronutrient deficiency that directly sabotages your energy production. 4 nutrients are especially important here. First, vitamin D. A lot of people have a vitamin D deficient, especially during the winter months. Vitamin D plays a direct role in energy production within your cells. Second, B vitamins, especially vitamin B12. They are crucial for converting food into energy. Vegetarians and vegans are especially at risk here. Third, magnesium, the relaxation mineral, which is also essential for ATP production, which is the cellular currency of your energy. And fourth, iron. Especially women often suffer from iron deficiency, which leads to fatigue because less oxygen is transported to your cells. I personally witnessed how dramatically a friend's energy levels improved once she got her iron levels under control. It was like someone had flipped the switch. The third reason is a silent energy thief: chronic inflammation. Your body is constantly battling low-grade inflammation triggered by certain foods, and this battle consumes an enormous amount of energy. The 3 biggest inflammation drivers in our diet are industrial seed oils like sunflower oil, which are found in almost all processed foods, refined sugar, which disrupts your insulin levels and promotes inflammation, and highly processed carbohydrates, which send your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation showed that just one inflammatory meal can lower your energy levels for up to 6 hours afterwards. That explains why you feel completely wiped out after a fast food meal. The fourth reason sounds paradoxical. You're not moving enough. Yes, you heard it right. Less movement actually leads to less energy, not more. When you don't move, your body reduces the number and efficiency of your mitochondria, the powerhouses in your cells that produce ATP, your body's energy currency. Seated activities, for example, can cut your energy capacity by up to 40%. A study from the University of Georgia found that regular, moderate exercise can boost energy levels from chronic fatigue people by up to 65%. I've personally noticed that on days where I barely move, my energy is at its lowest, even though theoretically I should have saved energy. Our body simply doesn't work like a battery that drains. It's more like a muscle. It gets stronger when you use it and it atrophies when you don't. The fifth reason for your constant tiredness is digital overstimulation. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's total energy, even though it only makes up 2% of your body mass. And in today's digital world, we are putting more strain on it than ever before. Every time you switch between apps, check notifications, or scroll through endless feeds, you are forcing your brain to perform a mental shift. This constant switching is extremely energy intensive. Neuroscientists at Stanford University have shown that multitasking drastically increases glucose consumption in your brain, and glucose is the main fuel for your mental energy. Then there's also the so-called attention residue effect. Even when you return from social media to your work, part of your attention remains stuck on the previous content. Your brain now has to work twice as hard for the current task and for processing what you just have seen. Now you know the 5 reasons for your constant fatigue. And the good news? It's nothing highly complex that would require an expert team and thousands of dollars to fix. Small, simple adjustments are often enough. Here are a few suggestions on how you can fight these energy thieves. Just take a look at the areas where you're struggling and pick what works best for you. Let's start with dehydration. We just saw that dehydration can make you tired even if you don't notice it. The solution is actually simple: drink more. But sticking to it can be hard for many people. Here's my tip. Start your day with a big glass of water before you have your first coffee. Your body is dehydrated after 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and the first sip of water acts like a kickstart for your metabolism. And if you're like me and constantly forget to drink, make it a routine. I now drink a glass of water before every meal and every time I check my phone. These small habits have massively increased my water intake. Now let's move on to nutrient deficiencies. Do you remember the 4 nutrients you are likely missing? Vitamin D, vitamin B12, magnesium and iron? Before you widely start swallowing supplements, I would recommend first getting your levels checked. Go see your doctor and find out where you have deficits. Then optimize your diet. Egg yolks for B vitamins, leafy greens for magnesium, legumes for iron, and so on. And if that's not enough, then you can supplement, but with high quality products. That means magnesium glycinate instead of the cheap oxide stuff from the drugstore, which barely works. It's best to get advice from your pharmacist or doctor. The difference once these nutrients are back to normal levels is like night and day. Now let's move on to inflammation. When it comes to chronic inflammation, the solution lies mainly in your diet. Start with small step. Replace sunflower oil with olive oil, swap out white bread for whole grain, and cut back on sugar wherever you can. These changes aren't complicated, but the impact on your energy levels is massive. And I probably don't need to mention that fast food and convenience food aren't exactly helping here. Now let's take a look at lack of movement. Earlier we talked about the paradox: less movement equals less energy. The solution isn't to train hours on end, but to integrate regular movement into your everyday life. Stand up once every hour and walk around for a minute. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Stand up during phone calls. These small movements adds up and makes a huge difference to your energy levels. Finally, let's take a look at digital overstimulation. There have already been hundreds of videos about the negative effects of social media and screen time, and I'm not going to repeat all of it here. You probably already know the usual tips. Delete apps, reduce screen time, do a digital detox, and so on. Just try incorporating focused work blocks into your day without interruptions. Put your phone on airplane mode, close all your tabs, and work with full focus for 90 minutes. Afterwards, take a real break. Not scrolling, but actually getting up and moving around. And finally, here's one last tip that's surprisingly well supported by science, but often overlooked. The power of nature. Sounds simple, but it's highly effective. A study from the University of Michigan showed that a 20-minute walk in a green environment can significantly lower your cortisol levels and boost your mental energy. This isn't about any kind of esoteric tree hugging. It's simply about getting outside and taking a deep breath. Natural environments have been proven to reduce cognitive load on your brain. Unlike in urban settings where your brain constantly has to filter incoming stimuli, in nature it can relax and recharge. So, those were the 5 main reasons behind your constant fatigue and some practical tips on how you can finally fight back. As you can see, chronic exhaustion rarely has just one cause like lack of sleep. More often it's the small everyday habits that drain our energy, but luckily we can change them easily. You don't have to implement everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 points that resonate most with you and start there. Sometimes the smallest change makes the biggest difference. Good luck!